Good morning, dear 6th class students. Today we are discussing about fiber to fabric in our part 2. Today we will discuss about the animal fibers, and in the earlier class we already discussed about the plant fibers. Okay, and in that plant fibers we already discussed in some few points about the processing of different type of our fibers, and now we are discussing about the animal fibers and how the spinning in yarn and how from fiber to yarn or yarn to fabric we have to make. So we have to start with the animal fibers. So wool is the fiber is obtained from the hair of sheep, and the hair of camels, goats and rabbits are also used for making woolen fabric. So you know about that wool is our animal fibers, and in plant fibers we already discussed about the different types of like rami plants and hemp and kapok, silk cotton like that, and jute and cotton. How cotton balls are matures, and after that writing process is done with the help of, and what are the areas for the jutes. Okay, what are the uses of that particular uses we already discussed here, and now we have to see only the animal fibers. So in animal fiber, first we are discussing about the wools. So you know about that wool is the part of like a sheep, a rabbit and upper one hair or their fleece. So it can be a wear by the help of shearing process. The hair of camels, goats and rabbit are also used for making woolen fabrics. The hair is removed from the animal with the help of a special clipper or a large razor. It means it can be done by manually or by automatic. It means some mechanical razors and shearing machines also available, and some manual razors. It means which can be operated with the help of by the hand. That is also available. So the process of removal of wool from sheep is called shearing. Shearing also carried out with the help of shearing machine, and the quality of wool depends on the breed of sheep. It means the what is the quality of sheep. It means the where it is found and what is the sheep. Because after that we have to see what is the texture, what is the length, what is the thickness of that wool. Okay, the quality of decide on the basis of color, thickness, length, shine, strength of the fiber. So Pashmina and exceptionally good quality wool. Generally, the Pashmina sheep is found in our Jammu Kashmir region, and it is obtained from the sheep found in Kashmir and the surrounding Himalayan areas. Wool is a fluffy since it retains air between the fiber. Air being a bad conductor of heat enables the woolen fibers to retain the body heat. Therefore, woolen clothes are good for wearing during the cold weather. So you know about that. Generally, the woolen fabrics we are using in winter days. So you know about that. Nowadays, in morning, sometime cold climate outside. So and you know the Diwali seasons also generally came in the winter season. So this chill climate outside. After that, we have to wear, and we are just comfortable with the woolen clothes. Therefore, woolen clothes are good for wearing during the cold weather, because it is a air being a bad conductor of heat for that. Now the silk, you know about the silk. Generally, we can get from the silk worm, and the silk worm generally can eat only the mulberry leaves. Okay, so it is obtained from the cocoon of the silkworm. There are four stages in the life cycle of silkworm. First is egg, second is larva, third is pupa, and fourth one is adult stage. The silkworm or larva feeds on mulberry leaves and spin a cocoon around itself. It means in a eight-like structure, they are generally spin a cocoon around itself. Each silkworm produces a single continuous thread of raw silk, 300 to 900 meters long. It means if we are making a single thread of each silkworm, then if we can measure the length of that particular thread, then it will be made 300 to 900 meters long. It means you can see how a single continuous thread of raw silk by each silkworm can be produced 300 to 900 meters long. The cocoons are boiled in water to kill the silkworms. It means because after that they are secreting some the protein enzymes, or they can continuously to destroy that silk fiber. So that's why in boiling water we have to bury that silk worm. Okay, then after that silk worm can be killed. It is unwanted to get the silk fiber. The rearing of silkworm for the production of silk is called sericulture. So, at the large level of commercial purpose, if we are, it means rearing and management is known as sericulture of silkworms or silk. Rearing of silk was practiced in the China for at least 5,000 years. Silk was traded to India, Middle East, and Europe. You know about that. That is also known as Silk Route. The name is coming here. This route between Asia and Europe is named as Silk Route. So you know about the silk was very early stage are generally produced in China before Christ, 5,000 like 5,000 years before. It means maybe the before Christ, now 2,000 years, then before 3000 BC. Okay, 3000 BC. So silk was traded to India, Middle East, and Europe. This route between Asia and Europe is named as Silk Route. The shining texture of the fabric makes it a valuable dress material. You know about that. Silk is a very shining and lustrous material, and the fabric quality is also good. And they are, when we are wearing, then some shiny appearance also looks in that cloth. So that's why generally the this male and female are generally prefer this silk clothes or fabrics. Now here it is a science bits, like people who study ancient civilization and their cultures are called archaeologists. And a small sector of weaving is done on handloom, and in the big industries weaving is done on the power looms. So power looms are electricity generated some machines, and handlooms are generally made by the hands. Activity 3.2, to match the figure with the help of a cloth made from that, and draw a line from the plant or animal to the clothing that is made of. So you know about that. This is the caterpillar for silk. Second one is shearing, that is for woolen. So you can see this. In first one is there is a knitting, and A1 is a cotton. So cotton clothes you can see, and third one, that is the jute. So jute bag generally preferred. So for D3, one for so for A, cotton means two, B for shearing, that is the first one is knitting is here done, doing, and third one the caterpillar. So it is a silk. So silk sari is at last, and this is jute. So jute bags are here. So A matching with 2, B matching with 1, C matching with 4, and D matching with 3. Okay. So now spinning yarn. Spinning yarn. The process of making yarn from fiber is called spinning. You know about that. This is so spinning yarn. It can be done by the help of weaving and weaving. So yarn to fabric. Yarn to fabric is known as fiber. Sorry, yarn to fiber. It means fiber are a smallest thread by which we can get the yarn, and this yarn is continuously changes by the spinning, because this is the small one thread like structure of fiber, which is a very weak in nature. Okay, not a good strength, and after that it is made to yarn, and yarn is just converted into the fabrics. Fabrics means the clothing material which generally we are using for wearing purpose. So in this process, the cotton fibers are pulled to make them straight and them straight. So first we have to make a fiber straight, and after that we have to make a twisted with one to another. Okay. So a single fiber of this is very big in nature. Okay. So this makes the yarn stronger, and spinning is done with the help of a simple device like takli or charkha. On a large scale, spinning is done with the help of a spinning machine. So on large scale, it is done with the help of a spinning machine. A takli consists of a hand spindle, with the charkha is made up of wheel. So takli is a hand spindle, means by the hand we have to spin for to make a fiber to yarn. And charkha is from yarn to we have to use to make a fibers which rotates while spinning. The charkha was used and made popular by Mahatma Gandhi during the freedom movements in India, because they are generally popular for the using of the khadi clothes. Spinning machines consist of a metal spindles shaped like spikes, which makes the process of spinning fast. After spinning, the yarns are dyed in different colors or treated with chemicals. to prevent shrinkage before weaving into fabric. So spinning machine generally consist of metal spindles shaped like spikes. Spikes are there in the, you know about that in Charka also. And after spinning, the yarns are dyed in different colors. Yarns are, it means when the yarn is made, they are just converted into different colors, because after that different colors of yarn, we have to make a different colors of clothes with chemicals to prevent shrinkage before weaving into fabrics. And we are generally using some chemical also, then there is no shrinkage in that particular fibers. If there are shrinks, then they cannot be able to make a long length of twisted fibers. Yarn to fabric. Yarn to fabric. We are having here two process. Like first is weaving and second is knitting. Knitting is generally done, we are doing for the woolen clothes, and weaving is for generally we are using for cotton and other clothes. Yarn to fabric, the two main process of making fabrics from yarn are weaving and knitting. India is the second last producers of silk after the China, and the largest consumer of silk in the world. Okay. Now the weaving, the process of arranging two sets of yarn together to make a fabrics. It means two sets of yarn. Two sets of yarn means here it's a two sets. Okay, two sets of yarn. Okay, these two sets of yarn to make two sets of yarn to make fabric. And you know about that now. I am already told about that. Fabric, the process of fabric, production of fabric from the yarn is a process is known as spinning. It's known as weaving. Okay, spinning is for fiber to yarn, and now from yarn to make a fabric, then it is known as weaving for cotton clothes, and knitting is for woolen clothes. Weaving is done in handlooms in which a shuttle carries the yarn back and forth and across the yarn place alongwise. So some it means they are containing the roll of their particular yarn, and which is going left to right and back and forth motion there. Okay, so they are just goes to left and right and back and forth, and due to that upper one is their formation of it means the formation of the one cloth like structure after that. Place length. In big industries, power looms are used. The woven fabric is then dyed and bleached or polished. After that, dyed it means giving to color. Bleach it means make disinfectant. Okay, and or polish. Polish means make us give the shiny surface. Knitting, in this process, a single yarn is used to make a piece of fabric. Sweater, socks, mufflers are knitted from woolen yarn. Knitting is done by hand and also by machines. So you can, in this process, a single yarn is used to make. You know about that. In this diagram, you can easily see how is knitting is done with that. You seen in winter days, women are at the home. They are also making the sweaters and woolen clothes for a small one or for adults. They are used by the process of knitting. Sweater, socks and mufflers are knitted from woolen yarn, and knitting is done by hand and also by machines. So it can be done by hand and also by machines. Okay. Now the activity 3.3, it is to show that to study the strength of fibers. To study the strength of fiber. So for that we have need a small bucket, a few weights. Okay, few weights. It means what is the weight for that? It means after that 10 gram or 50 gram, 100 gram, 500 gram, 200 gram. Okay, so four fibers like jute thread, cotton thread, nylon thread and woolen yarn. So suspend the bucket with the jute thread. Okay, so jute thread we have to suspend in bucket. Go placing on the weight until the thread breaks. Okay, and calculate and write down the weight just when the thread breaks. Okay. So how threads can be having the opportunity to take the, and it means our ability to take the weight of that particular weighs. Okay, so how much thread can be able to take a burden on that. Now repeat the same procedure for all the different kinds of fibers. Arrange the order of the fibers from the strongest to the weakest and write down your observation in the following table. So now some questions are here. It means after that this activity we have to see what is the measured weight. It means jute thread, cotton thread, nylon thread, and woolen thread, woolen yarn. Like so, which fiber is we cast? Nylon is a synthetic material, so it is completely man-made. So, is nylon thread is stronger or weaker than the cotton thread? So, you know about that. Generally, this synthetic, artificial or man-made, like they are having the stronger fiber. They are having the stronger fiber, and the plant and animal fibers, which is the natural fiber, that is not a strong fiber. They are weak fibers. So, which is thread is stronger, nylon or jute? Can you say that artificial thread nylon is stronger than the natural threads like cotton and jute, and why? Okay, so this activity is only for performing to which type of thread having the strongest and which is the least strong. It means which are the weak in nature after wetting condition, and which are having the strongest among the all the in the orders. Okay, so you know about that synthetic fibers or synthetic clothes are generally having a long durability. Long durability. Natural fiber versus synthetic fibers. Natural fiber versus synthetic fiber. So now we are seeing the or discussing about the natural and synthetic fibers. So natural and synthetic fibers are like a fibers in which we have to see some drawbacks and its positive nature of this natural, and synthetic also we are having some drawbacks and their benefits. So first we have to discuss about the natural fibers benefits. So cotton fibers are soft, absorb sweat, let air in, and it can be used in all seasons. So generally it is a good to wear, and it is a good to see, and it is a good to durable for long lasting. So that's why natural fiber like cotton fiber is a good for to wearing for all seasons. Woolen fibers trap air in between them and thus retain the body heat. So generally it shows the good a bad conductor of heat. That's why generally the body warmness is just kept inside the body, and there is no goes to outside, and no cold like air is just entrapped into the inside. So due to the in the winter season, generally we are using the woolen clothes. Silk clothes have a natural shine and can be made into expensive dresses. So silk clothes generally having a natural shine, and it is a we have to make a expensive dresses. Natural fiber are used as a protective covering for our body, and protecting covering also for our body. So many garments are generally used with the help of only natural fibers, and too much before years ago. We are knowing about only the natural fibers. Synthetic fibers are the latest fiber, okay, and natural fibers generally we can see from the plants and animals, and that's why it is the most usable forms in our society. Okay, so drawbacks of natural fibers: these are very expensive due to their production cost. We are having a too much production cost, so productivity is a less. That's why they are having a expensive. For example, natural silk is a costly fabric. Like natural silk, you know about that khadi clothes. Okay, so they are a very expensive fabric. Now they get creased or crumpled easily. It means they are having the many creased or crumpled. It means salvate. Okay, so they are easily get. So they have to be ironed after every wash. Okay, without wash, it's showing a like a creased or crumpled. They take a longer time to dry, especially during the rainy seasons. Okay? They have a very longer time for in rainy seasons. Rainy seasons, it cannot be just easily evaporate the water from this particular clothes. Moths and molds generally attack these clothes. These are either carbohydrates, cotton, or proteins, wool and silk. Okay, so moths and molds, it means the insects generally feeding the plant products or feeding the animal products, and you know about that cotton is also plant products. They are having a cellulose and proteins like that, and generally the silk like some moths and molds are okay, and some worms are also can be eat this cotton clothes. So we have to save from that, and that's why it's drawback. It continuously we are not having the care of this type of clothes, then we can lost it, okay, or destroy by naturally. They generally shrink on ordinary washing. Okay, ordinary washing they have a shrink. Okay. Benefits of using synthetic fibers: they are strong, durable, and generally do not shrink. They do not get creased and crumple. Okay, this is the reverse of this drawback of natural fibers. They are easy to wash and maintain. They dry very quickly as they absorb very little water, and moths and moths do not attack these fabrics. Okay, and it means they dry very quickly in winter days. You also known as seen that parachute clothes. Okay, generally we are using for that. And moths and moths do not attack these fabrics because they are chemical made. They are available in very attractive colors, design and prints. They are cheaper than the natural fibers. So you know about that we are generally preferring these synthetic clothes because they are not expensive, means cheaper in rate. They are a long lasting, they are having a long durations, and they easily not shrink. They are not easily creased and crumpled. And other thing is that the synthetic fibers are easily available in a different type of prints, designs and colors. So that's why most of shops and most of garments are in nowadays in markets are available in the synthetic fibers. Okay. So now the drawbacks of synthetic fibers. These fibers are not comfortable in any season since they do not have absorb sweat and do not let air in. So these fibers are not comfortable in any season. It means these fibers are comfortable only in maybe sometime rainy season or winter season, not in summer season, because there the outside air cannot easily get inside the body. Okay? So it is not a good to see or good to wear in the summer season. They clothes catch fire easily. So these synthetic fibers can catch easily the fire. So generally, we cannot wear this type of clothes in the when we are having nearby any flame or we are using or we are working in the kitchen. Okay, they get damaged when pressed by hot iron. So because this is the chemically made and this is have the synthetic like a plastic like substance, so it can be easily pressed or it is damaged with the hot iron. History of clothing material. It is our last topic. History of clothing material. History of clothing material. It means that how the clothes can be worn by human beings started and how clothes are invented or discovered in early stage. Okay. So in ancient times, clothing consisted of leather, fur, leaves, and grass wrapped by tie around the body, and you know about that. Initially, when there is no discovery of these clothing materials, so generally human beings are wearing only the in the form of clothes like a leaves, bigger leaves, okay, and the skin of animals, okay, and the grass and fur like that, and leather. So grass vines and hairs of animals were twinned to make a clothes. Egyptians were the first to discover and use cotton about 14,000 years ago. Both cotton and flax were grown near the river Nile. So in the just bank of river Nile, both cotton and flax are generally grown for the wearing purpose. The early Indians who cultivated and used cotton clothes, the cotton plants were grown on the banks of river Ganga for more than 3,000 years. At around 30,000 BC, sewing needles were invented. The remains of needle made of animals' bones and ivory were discovered by archaeologists in Russia. So around 30,000 BC. So it is a too much long early stage time where the needles were invented. Needles, okay, sui जो है were invented. The remains of needle made of animal bones and ivory were discovered of archaeologists in Russia. So these were supposed to have brought about a revolution in the type of clothes worn. So needle made of animal bones. So initial stage there is no needle made of stainless steel or like nowadays. They are just made up of only the animal bones and ivory were discovered by archaeologists in Russia. So these were supposed to have brought about a revolution in the type of clothes worn. Stitched clothes began to be used in India around the 14th century. It means before that we are using unstitched clothes, and after that inventions of discovery of these needles, then in India in the 14th century. Okay, in the 14th century. 14th century means 1301 to 1400. Okay, so that is the 14th century. Western clothes became popular in 20th century. This is Western outfits are generally now popular in 20th century. It means nowadays this is a very advanced type of clothing materials, generally fitting by new age of a lifestyle. But even now, unstitched and single large piece of cloth is also used. So you know about that, like in dhoti or many times, different type of clothes are also used in the single stitch. Okay, there is no need of any stitching, both by men and women, as a dhoti, turban, and sari. So you know about the dhoti and turban is a wearing purpose for the male, and sari is for female. In Africa, also this type of single large rectangular piece of cloth is wrapped around the body and used as a clothing. Clothes protect us from heat, cold, winter, wind and rain. It also protects us from insect bites. So you know about that clothing, why it is necessary for us to wear. Cotton clothes keep us cool during the summer, and woolen clothes keep us cool, warm in during winter. Raincoats keep us dry during the rains. Synthetic clothes are also used frequently since they are durable and easy to maintain. So you know about that synthetic are non-shrinkable. Okay, that's why it is easy to wear and easy to kept somewhere, to keep somewhere, or highly values of, because silk clothes are highly valued because of their shimmering appearance and production cost. So they are having a high productivity cost and lustrous appearance, means shiny appearance. That's why silk clothes are having a high cost. Therefore, we can choose the type of clothes we want to wear from a wide variety of fabric. So nowadays, you know about that many different type of clothes and materials are made up of animal fibers, plant fibers, and synthetic fibers. But animals and plants are limited in our nature. So that's why nowadays synthetic fibers we are using, and you know about that. We already discussed about and we already earlier I told about that why synthetic fibers can be used by us. So after in this sense, we are now. This is the end of this our chapter, chapter number 3. This is that is the fiber to fabric. I hope you all understood this chapter, and try to understand question answer we will discuss in our WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you.